Wire-on welting is used in a number of applications. It's used on convertible tops, it's used on seats, and sometimes even on doors. The concept of what to do with it seems to evade a lot of people. What I do when I get to use wire-on, no matter what I'm going to use it on, is you have two beads. You have a large bead and a small bead. And then you have, if you look inside, there's stitching and there's wire in there. What I do is, before I try to use the wire-on, is I'll pre-fold it first. And the idea is, I want to flatten it down a little bit more. But you're going to be tacking in between here, and you want this to fold up as tight as possible after you've tacked it on. So what I do is I just generally, I'll just fold it up all the way down, and it doesn't seem to fit real tight. And that's where I will take a mallet, and I'm going to flatten this, pre-flatten this before I put it on whatever I'm going to do, whether it be a top or a seat. And I'm just going to take a rubber mallet and just flatten it down. You can do the same thing with a hammer. You want to do, this is pretty soft, it's bouncing on me, but you want to do it on a firm surface. And then when you got it folded up, it lays down nice and flat. Now what I'll do is I'll just open it up in the center to about a 90-degree angle, and you're ready to tack it on. Say this with the edge of a top. What you're going to do is have the small bead facing down, and you're just going to put it on there. And I'm just going to, this covers up the tacks, you know, from the top of the cushion or the top frame or whatever you're working on. A small bead, when you're doing a top, it generally faces down, because if you turn the wire-on around, have it facing up, it's going to catch water if you're out in the rain. On the top of a seat cushion, like used on a top of a town sedan backrest or something like that, I generally have the small bead facing towards the front of the seat. And the reason I do that is when you go around a corner, it bends easier towards the small bead as opposed to the large bead. If it's pretty much straight, like across the header bow on a convertible or something like that, and you know, you always want it facing down. And then what I'm going to do is just right in between the stitches on the inside, I'm just going to staple it down. You can do the same thing with tacks, but I'm using staples. After I've tacked it onto whatever I'm working on, again, I'll take the mallet and I'll go back and I'll just flatten it down again. And then it closes right up tight and you can't see any tacks or staples. And about the only other thing is, if I'm gonna be installing wire-on tips, which like on convertibles this will finish off, generally what I'll do is I'll take the wire-on, and because of the shape of the tip, I'm just going to cut it to a little point. This helps it to fit up inside the tip a little bit better.